Good afternoon, and welcome to the Spring 2017 SWOG Group Meeting. I hope you're having a great and productive time here in San Francisco. Our program, like our group, is really strong, with a number of special sessions, a movie screening, and a modestly important election at the Board of Governors meeting. Spoiler alert, if you guys want the amusing stories to continue, you're going to have to vote for the unopposed incumbent, or ask Dr. Baker to come out of retirement. For our 2017 group meetings, that is both spring and fall, we're going with a theme of innovation. Biomedical research succeeds or fails on its ability to adapt and improve, and cancer trials and SWOG are no exception. Our plenary speakers today will focus on that theme, discussing new ways to approach our work, always with the goal of helping the public we serve. SWOG executive officers that oversee treatment trials, Drs. Julie Graylow, Susan O'Brien, and Chris Ryan, will highlight the most groundbreaking studies in our NCTN portfolio. Then we'll welcome Linda House as she delivers our Harry E. Hines Memorial Lecture, which focuses on survivorship. Linda is president of Cancer Support Community, the largest global nonprofit cancer support network, and has much in common with the man who gives this special lecture its name. Finally, we'll welcome Dr. Deborah Zarin to the plenary podium. Dr. Zarin is director of clinicaltrials.gov, the online trial site you're all familiar with. CT.gov is undergoing innovations of its own, and she'll tell you all about them. But first, I'll give you some SWOG headlines and highlights. Since we last gathered in September, we've had a lot of great news to share. In January, we launched the DART trial. DART is short for dual anti-CTLA-4 and anti-PD-1 blockade in rare tumors. And it's a product of our Early Therapeutics and Rare Cancers Committee, chaired by Dr. Roselle Kurzrock. DART is testing two leading-edge agents, ipilimumab and nivolumab, on dozens of rare tumor types. It's the first federally funded immunotherapy trial devoted to uncommon malignancies. DART riffs off the NCI MATCH trial run by our colleagues at ECOG Akron. As you know, MATCH uses a customized tumor gene testing method to connect patients with any classic solid tumor with specified genetic drivers, along with lymphoma and myeloma, with 24 targeted treatments. MATCH patients who don't have a treatment option, or ones with cancers that don't respond to treatments on MATCH, may be eligible to enroll in DART. DART really is a way to speed treatments to a hard-to-study population in critical need. My congrats to study chairs Dr. Sandeep Patel, Young-Kwang Che, Frank Giles, and Kurzrock. You'll likely hear more about DART from Dr. Ryan, but he won't be as funny. Also in January, we issued SWOG's first ever impact report. The report offers the most vital data on our cancer clinical trials and will be issued at the beginning of each calendar year. It isn't meant to be exhaustive, but rather an easy-to-scan snapshot of our most important activities and accomplishments. The impact report is our way of being both accountable and accessible to members, funders, donors, friends, partners, and the public. Over time, these reports will allow us to spot trends and chart our progress. As you know, we've been ramping up our communication efforts in the last few years, and since we last saw each other in September, we've issued 8 press releases on SWOG research, published in peer-reviewed journals or presented at national conferences. This work is truly stellar and met a high bar for impact or novelty. 2 of the press releases focused on work presented at the American Society of Hematology annual meeting and at the San Antonio Breast Cancer Symposium. And I want to thank Drs. John Pagel and Lynn Henry, respectively, for their SWOG presentations at ASH in San Antonio, which were among a total of 20 presentations on SWOG trials at those meetings. The work of Drs. Pagel and Henry and the work of other members, along with our DART trial launch, garnered press attention by major newspapers and radio stations, as well as mentions from Reuters, CNN, the ASCO Post, and STAT, the national online health and science site run by the Boston Globe. So close, so close. It's looking pretty good, right? I'm so pleased to report our redesign and rebuild of SWOG.org is on time and on budget. Our goal of launching it in 2031 will easily be met. This project kicked off in November and has passed through the content planning and design phases. What you see here is the draft version of our new homepage. A SWOG team and our Boston-based web development firm, iFactory, have created a sitemap, conducted a content inventory, and designed key pages. We're also working on a new login feature and a rebuild of 3 major tools: our member directory, our protocol search engine, and our publication search engine. So when the new site goes live in November of 2017, just kidding about 2031, it will not only look different, but will work differently too. Now, different here, of course, means better. The group chair's office and the operations office are closely following progress on this project, and I know you'll be happy with the final results. So you can all plan to stop calling my office every time you need to find Dr. Schott's email address. Also on the communications front, it's full steam ahead with social media. We just clocked over 3,000 followers on Twitter, and making good on one of my early non-research associated promises, SWOG now has a permanent space on Facebook. Our digital engagement committee last month launched the private Facebook group, SWOG Oncology, as their first pilot project. The group is unique because it's not aimed at promoting our work to the public, but connecting our diverse members to each other. The digital engagement team wanted a platform that would get members talking, no matter what type of cancer they study, where they're located, or what title they hold. So far, it's meeting this goal. At the plenary practice run-through number 155 in the wee hours of this morning, we had over 180 SWOG members who had joined the group to date. Joining is easy. Pull out your phone, tap the Facebook app, and search for SWOG Oncology. Click the Join button and you'll be notified when your request is accepted. If you need help or have questions about the Facebook group, please stop by the Hope Foundation table and our social savvy staffers can give you a hand. Just 2 weeks ago, staff and leadership met in Chicago for a day-long training retreat. The group, which hailed from the group chair's office, the Stats Center, and the operations office, and Hope, discussed our training needs and how to best meet them. I was there and can report that it was a great session. We came up with several new training topics, agreed to produce more materials for CRAs and our staff, and to better promote this significant benefit to our members. In Chicago, I'll update you on these new directions in training. Our thanks to Operations Chief Dana Sparks for pulling off that incredibly productive session together. Finally, I'll end the news section by reminding you that something kind of important is coming up. Our first 5 years under the National Clinical Trials Network are ending, and a new grant RFA will be released in September. We'll have a whopping 100 days, including Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, to write that grant. Since our next meeting comes right in the middle of that time, I certainly will be too busy myself to compose hilarious jokes for the plenary session. Now, we do have a few volunteers to stand in the podium in my place, so please keep an eye out for the ballot. You guys get to choose my temporary replacement. Our first possibility, an obvious one, Dr. Ann Schott has volunteered to truly earn the outstanding 3.2% salary support we pay her as group deputy chair. For those who prefer a different SWOG leader, fill the gap. I understand Dr. Ellis has finished making all the Harry Potter movies. I don't want to scoop myself, but one of our chairs, who's going to remain nameless for now, is stepping down as committee leader. Apparently doing the most interesting man in the world beer commercials isn't sufficient to account for all of his free time. Finally, I've been told that neither of the leaders of our two main political parties is particularly busy right now, so we can ask one or both to fill in. Speaking of which, we don't actually have any hellos this meeting and only one goodbye, but it is a big goodbye, a really, really big one. SWOG Breast Committee Chair, Dr. Gabriel Hortabaji, is stepping down, and this is his last meeting as chair. We'll soon announce his replacement thanks to the work of a search committee led by SWOG Senior Advisor, Dr. David Gandera. Dr. Hortabaji of MD Anderson will be a tough act to follow. Gabriel is an outstanding scientist and clinician who's changed the standard of care in cancer more than once. He is a gifted leader, a generous donor to hope, and friend, teacher, and advisor to many, especially me, which is why I'm pleased to report he'll remain active in SWOG. At this time, I want to welcome Dr. Julie Graylow, the SWOG Executive Officer for Breast and Lung Cancer Committees, to the podium to say some words in honor of Dr. Hortabaji, her longtime friend and colleague. Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, Chuck. You kind of said it all already in your introduction, but I was asked to spend a few minutes talking about Dr. Hortabaji, who I've really known since my fellowship. So we've spent a lot of time together, and we're definitely going to miss you on the breast committee, Gabe, but we know we'll all stay connected. So Gabriel has been chair of the breast committee for 10 years now. Started immediately after his ASCO presidency ended in 2007, and is stepping down as of this meeting. Whoops. We all know that Gabe has juggled many roles in his life between SWOG, ASCO, clinical duties, MD Anderson, mentorship, etc. But what a lot of us aren't aware of is that he also serves a role as King Gabriel of Hungary when they need someone to step in at special ceremonies. Here he is in one such ceremony wearing his official ceremonial garb. He is a man of many talents, and I'll thank lots of people for supplying me with some of these pictures and slides. He can play any instrument, and he sings at every possible occasion. Here he is in his much younger days in the middle, playing the guitar, but also he is quick to join in song and is quite accomplished with a variety of instruments. He's also a connoisseur of fine wines and fine foods. When I looked through all the pictures that people sent me, I would say that 85% of them he was holding a wine glass. So we've all benefited from this interest of Gabe's. The breast committee has always had the best dinner parties. And as Chuck has already alluded to, most of us are aware that it was Gabriel Hordabaji that the Dos Equis, Most Interesting Man in the World ad campaign was modeled after. And stay thirsty, my friends, was the motto of this ad campaign. And a lot of those antics that you saw in those commercials are modeled after Gabe's life. Gabe also has been a fashion icon over the years. I have no idea what he was doing in either of these pictures. Here we see his lovely wife, Agnes, who is always, leading the pack and the partying, and I don't know what Gabe is wearing here, but clearly everyone's having fun. And many of us have suspected, although we've never actually seen it, that Gabe, like Clark Kent, actually turns into Superman in order to get everything done that he gets done. So this is Super Gabe. Now, Gabriel is leaving behind a legacy of practice-changing clinical trials, incredible mentorship, exceptional wisdom and patience, important groundbreaking contributions to science, but what most of us will remember are the fun times, the true friendship, and the great memories. Thanks, Gabriel, for everything you've done for cancer patients, for trainees, for all of us in the room, and please stay involved with SWOG and keep in touch. We'd like to invite you up to the podium. What's the thing that you signed?
I think that she took it back. Oh, it's here.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're going to keep it going, but
I've now messed up Chuck's whole talk. So you are getting a wonderful, incredibly heavy, expensive plaque that they decided they weren't going to make you carry on the way home. So it's being shipped. But this is just a small token of SWOG's appreciation for all your efforts.
Thank you very
So,
much.
yep. Here,
Thank you
thanks.
very much.
Yep.
Julie.
do you want to say anything?
Well, thank you very much. Obviously, all of this has been invented, unless there is a spy in my home. And I suspect from this and previous events that there is. Wonder if she's in the back. Now, it's been an incredibly fulfilling and rewarding 10 years in SWOG. Before I joined this incredible organization, I had had very little experience with the cooperative groups. And these 10 years taught me to love and respect and enjoy the friendship and the incredible talent that those of you in the room bring to this fabulous organization. So I leave the chairmanship with great memories and hopefully I leave a committee that is ready for the next level. I've had the incredible support of Julie, Dan Hayes, who is an amazing TM chairman, Debu Tripathi more recently, and Bill Barlow, who is sort of the heart of our statistical organization. So thanks to all of you. I will be here to watch you take the breast committee to the next level, and keeping my fingers crossed for the success of my successor. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gabriel, and thanks again, Julie. So I now wanted to provide an update on the Hope Foundation and some of the activities it sponsors. Thanks to Hope, tomorrow we welcome 16 members of our very first class in our very first Leadership Academy. This new intensive program is aimed at giving early career researchers the knowledge, skills, and mentoring they need to move into leadership positions in SWOG or any group in the NCI's National Clinical Trials Network. We'll have a full day of talks and panel discussions and future training sessions for this and every subsequent class in the Academy. This time, we focus on SWOG and running publicly funded trials, and on high-quality, long-lasting mentoring, up to 3 years of it. Please join me in showing appreciation to Dr. Gandera, Program Chair, Dr. Howard Hoxter, Vice Chair, and all members of the inaugural class. Thanks. So last night, Hope members voted on the winner of this year's Coltman Fellowship. The Coltman Fellowship is SWOG's premier award for young and mid-career investigators and is aimed at engaging them in clinical trial methodology and helping them develop independent research careers. It provides $100,000 over 2 years, as well as necessary travel support. The winners of the Dr. Charles A. Coltman Jr. Fellowship for Outstanding Young Investigators are Dr. Mina Cedric, City of Hope, for Mixed Methods Assessment of Social Media Use Among SWOG Researchers, Dr. Timur Minton from Oregon Health and Science University for a Phase 2 randomized study of pembrolizumab with hypofractionated versus conventional fractionated thoracic radiotherapy in patients with inoperable stage 2-3 non-small cell lung cancer, and the Mid-Career Fellowship to Dr. Paul Barr, University of Rochester, for S1608, Characterization and Management of High-Risk Follicular Lymphoma. If you're here, please stand so we can recognize and congratulate you. Hope has also approved this year's crop of $50,000 awards from the SWOG Early Exploration and Development, or SEED Fund, which encourages preliminary research that leads to a SWOG trial or a translational medicine study. Congratulations as well to this year's SEED winners, Dr. Virginia Sun from City of Hope for a personalized dietary intervention for bowel dysfunction in rectal cancer survivors, Dr. Nadine Housery from Rutgers, Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, and the MedNet for a pilot project to identify techniques to raise awareness about SWOG clinical trials in an online question and answer network, and Dr. George V. Thomas from OHSU for overriding metabolic reprogramming in renal cell carcinoma. Again, if you're here, please stand. Let us congratulate you. Finally, in awards, Hope has named the winners of the 5 ITSC Pilot Awards, which provide up to $100,000 for a single year of research on a translational medicine topic. The winners are Gregory Edis of the University of Southern California and Hervé Thiriac of Cold Spring Harbor Lab for characterization of statins for the chemoprevention of colorectal cancer in preclinical models of Lynch syndrome. Alex Herrera and Nu Chen from City of Hope, Honey Reddy and Guru Ananda from the Jackson Lab, and Paul Barr of the University of Rochester for circulating tumor DNA in follicular lymphoma. Lauren Everett Byers of MD Anderson and Paul Robson of the Jackson Lab for tumor heterogeneity and therapeutic resistance in small cell lung cancer. Priyanka Sharma of University of Kansas and Honey Reddy of the Jackson Lab for evaluation of a genomic predictor algorithm for platinum plus taxane sensitivity in triple-negative breast cancer. And Jill Hamilton Reeves of the University of Kansas and Michaela Egblad of Cold Spring Harbor for impact of cystectomy and immunonutrition on formation of metastasis-promoting neutrophil extracellular DNA traps. I ask the winners to please stand. Our congratulations.